TeriGigi here. I've got about a million errands to run, but instead I decided just to sit down and have a little chat with you. I wanted to fill you in on what's been going on with Scott and I. We've been on a bit of a journey lately, and I just thought I would share it with you. Originally moved in the apartment, you know, we talked so much about how we were footloose and fancy free, and we didn't have any property. We had sold all our, homes in Florida. We sold our home in Houston, so we didn't own any property, and we just thought it was kind of cool because we were saying, in 4 or 5 years when Scott retires, we can go anywhere we want, and that felt pretty good. Well, then the election happened and our whole country started acting crazy, and it's just very unsettling. I mean, the way people are acting about it was just unsettling. And so Scott and I started talking about that, and he said, who knows what's going to happen? Our country's just gone bonkers. And he said, I don't like the thought of us retiring now 4 years away, when we're having this conversation a few months ago, and not knowing where we're going, not knowing what real estate prices are going to do, just that unsettled feeling. And I said, I feel the same way. So we started, he said, let's just start chatting and talking. He didn't say chatting, but he said, let's start talking about where we want to end up and just kind of get a feel for different areas and kind of get, on that track of thinking forward, right? Because we knew we weren't staying in Alabama. And so, of course, we looked at Florida. First, we looked at Texas, but we have just been from the area that we would want to move to. The prices have just skyrocketed. The taxes are out of control, and we were just priced out. Oh, by the way, we also set an extremely low budget for our retirement home. We just decided that we just wanted to get something small and doable and easy and affordable for us. And so we had this really low budget, and we both knew in our hearts, there's no way we can get a house for that, but we can try. So then we started looking at Florida. I went down there once and I met with a realtor down in Venice, Florida. I'll put a few clips in here. In the end, it felt, at that point, it felt kind of remote, far from everything. And Lexi looked at me one day and she goes, Mom, why do you want to live down there? That's where all the old people live. And I go, and she goes, no, you're not old like that. But I feel old like that. Well, anyway, she said, Mom, don't move to Florida for me because we might not stay here. Her and her husband might not stay there. And I was like, oh. Well, now Venice felt real remote if we had not any relatives in Florida, and we're way down the peninsula, the long swamp. So that kind of burst my bubble, but Florida, of course, was where I wanted to end up deep down inside. So now we've marked Texas off pretty permanently. We have Florida on the bubble, and Scott says, well, there's a place that we always talked about retiring, and maybe we should look up there. And I said, up where? And he said, the mountains of North Georgia. And I said, you're right. We've been on vacation there a couple times, like 3 different times, and we've loved it every time. So I said, let's get in the car. This is just 2 months ago. I said, let's get in the car and go look. So he said, let's go spend the weekend there and drive around and get a feel for the area and see if it looks how it did before when we were there maybe 10 years ago. So we jumped in the car and we're looking at real estate. He had been looking at real estate, to be honest, for about a month or 2 there. I didn't really know he was serious. And so we drove down there. We had a house we wanted to look at. It was absolutely beautiful. It didn't work out. The day we were the second people to look at it, and the first people made an offer. We were with this realtor guy, and we were just driving all around. We were in Hiawassee, Georgia, if anybody's interested. So we're driving around Georgia, and we found the most incredible house. The realtor drove us up on this mountain, and he was explaining kind of the history of the town and how it was settled. And he was talking about how this one builder had built homes on this mountain, years and years ago, and that it had the best view in North Georgia. So we drove up, and there was an empty lot. He just wanted to show us the view. We weren't interested in the lot. And so when we saw the view, we died. And Scott said, do you have any homes on this mountain in our price range? And the guy said, no. He said, now there is one home, and the guy did come down quite a bit on it a few months ago, but the buyers backed out. He goes, I don't know if he would come down that much for y'all. And Scott said, I want to see it. We went up to this home, y'all, and the view was the same. It was the most gorgeous view. I'll put some clips in here. So we fell in love, y'all. Oh my gosh. I wanted this house. It was just perfect. But it was too expensive, and I didn't want to go over that budget. And so we went to dinner that night, and we were just kind of depressed, and Scott was going, we need to just up the budget, blah, blah, blah. I said, no, we just can't do that, you know. So we go to dinner, we come back to the hotel. Oh, let me show you a clip of the hotel.
Here is our bed.
I just turned Norman away.
Oh, we're trying to fix, there's our heater.
Terry does not get to pick hotels anymore.
Here's our lovely curtains right out of Versailles.
And I want you to see that.
Okay, wait, Scott. We have a kitchenette. Hold on. We have a kitchenette.
When she takes her shower tonight, and Norman comes in with the knife to go through
He means
the shower
Norman
curtain
Bates.
in the red light.
Actually, y'all, it's clean, right?
It's very clean. No, I'm not. I'm just.
It's just hilarious.
That's a heating light.
Oh, look, we even have our own Mr. Coffee.
Well, okay, it's just going up 10 points.
Blow dryer, place to hang, comfy chair, and quite a decorative bedspread. Oh my gosh, y'all, it's so crazy. Oh, look at TV guide on the wall, Scott.
Well, that's so you don't steal it.
Oh, what's this? Here's the rules. Non-smoking. Ooh, we'll get a $250 charge if the housekeeping determines that the guest smoked in the room.
Okay, so we come back to the hotel, and we went to bed, and about 30 minutes after we went to bed, I popped up, and he goes, what? And I said, I got it. And he said, what? I said, I know how we can get that house. I said, in the listing, it said furniture negotiable. I said, if we could get him to give us the furniture and get the house at the lower rate, we could rent it out. Not at our budget, a little bit over. I said, we could rent it out as vacation property, and boom, we make our money back, we make income over it, and in 4 years, we move into it. Perfect plan. We went back to the realtor the next day. We looked at some other homes just to make sure. We came back here to Alabama the next morning. We got all the contracts for the rental, how it works, how much it costs and everything for them to handle the rentals, you know. But it was a 5-hour drive for us to be able to use the home. And I said, I just feel like, you know, we would feel like we needed to do every vacation there, and 5 hours is just kind of too far one way for a weekend, you know. There was one morning a few days later, now this is only like 3 or 4 days later, I was really praying about it, and I said, Lord, if this is what, you know, you want for us, this is what I want for me. And I kind of got the feeling that maybe we should do it, maybe we should pull the trigger and at least make an offer. And I was literally going to get my phone to call Scott, and this is like 7 in the morning. And as I'm getting my phone, I have a text, and I'm like, oh, it's Scott, you know. And I tapped the text, and it was a listing, a real estate listing, and I tapped it, and it was just this plain Jane, you know, track home in Venice, Florida, and I died. All of a sudden it hit me again, the thought that I was going to give up the beach forever. And I was never going to move back to a beachy place. And I wasn't going to be near the ocean at all in Georgia. And blah, blah, blah. Called Scott. I said, why did you do that? Why did you send me that? He said, because you cannot get to 100% on this house. And he said, I'm at 99%. And he said, if we're not both at 100%, we're not doing it. And I said, okay, I guess we're not doing it, because that picture just stabbed me in the heart. He says, all right, let's just keep looking in Florida. So he got home on that Friday night. This is the next weekend that we were in Georgia, and I've already been to Florida. And I said, wait a minute, we saw something on House Hunters the other day, and I think we need to check it out. And he goes, what? And so I got my phone and I Google Earthed, the distance. And I said, between our kids, and I said, Scott, we need to drive down to Gulf Shores and just look around. I said, supposedly it has white sand. He said, really? I said, that's what people around here say. They said that Gulf Shores has white sand. And one of our friends that used to vacation there as a child, and she loved it. And I said, people in Alabama probably don't really know how white sand should be, so it's probably not pretty or anything. So, but I think we should give it a look. And he said, why? And I said, because it's exactly halfway between Houston, here's Gulf Shores, and down here is Lexi. So it was exactly halfway driving distance. So it was perfect. And he said, all right, let's go. Let's go in the morning. So Saturday morning, we drove down to Gulf Shores. So we looked around, we met with the realtor. We found something online. We met with the realtor. The house wasn't right for us, and we looked at one more. And he said, what are you looking for? And I said, this is going to be a terrible thing to say, but I don't know what we're looking for, but we'll know it when we see it. And he goes, okay. And he said, how about if I just start sending you emails every day with listings, and when you see something you like, call me, drive back down, and we'll take a look at it. So I said, okay. So now it's still Saturday. We had driven down Saturday morning. Now it's only like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And Scott said, well, do you want to get a hotel? And I said, no, because we're not going to be looking with this guy tomorrow. I think he was busy, and we didn't have any other house ideas anyway. I said, let's just go back. Let's just drive the 3 hours back. And he said, okay. And he starts turning the truck around. I said, wait a minute, what are you doing? And he goes, I thought you wanted to go back. And I said, we haven't checked the sand yet. We haven't driven on the coast road yet. We had driven on this lagoon where the first house was on this, it was called Little Lagoon or something. There's so much water down there, it's insane. There's so many bays, there's so many islands and everything, which we had no idea. So he said, okay, so we turned around, we drove 5 minutes, we got to the beach. We're driving on the beach road, and we can't really see the sand. We can't really see the water because we're in this section with all the hotels. And he goes, what's all this white stuff on the road and up on the sides of the road? I said, I don't know. He goes, it has to be sand. I said, that can't be sand. It's pure white. And he goes, well, I don't know what else it would be, and it was just scattered around. The wind was blowing, All of a sudden I said, public access, public access. He turned the truck, we parked, we walked up down this little boardwalk thing, and y'all, the sand was so gorgeous. It was late afternoon, so the water was just a dark blue. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. And Scott said, I don't know, maybe we should take this area seriously. He said, but then we would be retiring in Alabama. I go, I know, how weird is that? But to be honest, Florida is still on the docket, and so is the house in Georgia. It still hadn't sold, and so it was still, we would still talk about it, trying to decide, So we go home that night. We had a big seafood dinner, which was amazing. So we drove back home. The next week, we look at houses. Every night, we're looking at houses in the whole Gulf Shores, Orange Beach area. So Friday night, this is the third weekend now. We've done Georgia, we've done Gulf Shores. This is the very next weekend, Friday night. This house just pops into my, on my screen of my computer. It was a brand new listing. There was only one picture. And I looked at it. I started reading the description. And I said, oh my gosh, Scott, this is it. I found it. I found the house. I found our house. And he goes, what? I said, let me send it to you. I mean, he's on the couch next to me, and I just kind of flashed it at him on my laptop, and he goes, send me that, send me. So I send it to his iPad. I mean, we were, you know, we're a pair when we get together. We just, you know, we are very technologically adept. So I sent it over to his iPad, and he goes, oh, we got to go see this. We got to go see this tomorrow. And I said, really? And he goes, yeah, we're going down. We'll get up early in the morning, and we'll drive down, and we'll call the realtor and have him meet us at the at that place. And I said, okay. So we drove down, called the realtor on the way, and he said, I can't meet you at all today. I'm out of town, but I can meet you tomorrow. So Scott goes, okay. And he's saying, that house is going to get sold today, blah, blah, blah. And so we go to another big seafood extravaganza dinner that night. We stayed in a nice hotel.
Okay, friends, I have to document what's been going on in Scott and I's life over the past 3 weeks. For 3 weekends, we have taken trips to look for a home for the future, but for now. So we have been, I think I've already told y'all, we went to Georgia, we found our dream house, we didn't get it.
No, Terry turned me down.
Scott, stop. It's true. But it's still available, so if he really wanted it, he'd be nagging me. We have sort of a water view. Scott, where are we?
We're in Gulf Shores, Alabama.
And what do you want to do tomorrow?
We're house hunting
And
for Terry's future almost beach house.
with an almost water view. How are we doing this now? Are we crazy?
Probably. But I'm not going back to Texas. Florida's too far south. This is midway between Texas and Florida for the kids. Low property taxes, all kinds of positive things.
So we met him at this other house, and we're sitting around chatting, and I said, and he goes, well, where should we go next? And I pulled the listing out of his stack, and I said, this is the reason we came. This is the only reason we came. And he looks at the listing, and he goes, what? Where? How did you find this? I said, it's only been on the market since Friday night. And he said, I'll call him. Let's go. We drove up. The house, that's it. We're getting it. We're getting it. We have not walked inside. We have not walked in the gate. We have not driven in the driveway. We knew we were getting this house. We knew. And so, how did it go? Oh, we got out. We were the first people to look at it. This was Sunday. We got out. We went in. We went up the walk. It's got this beautiful little stone walk up to it. And these other people drove up. Well, our realtor, y'all, is so typical Alabama. Super friendly, talks to everybody, you know, how people are here. Another reason that we do like Alabama quite a bit. And they wanted to look at the house, but they didn't have a realtor with them. But her mom was a realtor. Something, it was some cattywalker story, and he goes, and they say, when y'all are finished, would you mind if we went through it really quickly? He goes, no, come on and look at. I was so upset. I am walking through that house while they're waiting, and I'm going, Lord, please don't let these people steal my house. Please don't let these people steal my house. I mean, I knew this was my house, and I'm still at this point on the front porch. Long story short, we went out back, they went through it, and they left pretty quickly. And we made an offer on the spot. We are in love with it. It is so beautiful. It's tiny, y'all. It's tiny. It's tiny. It's a cottage or a bungalow. It's not on the beach. Of course, we couldn't afford to be on the beach, but we're not far from the beach. It's Key West architecture. It is so cute. It is so cute. I can't wait to give you a tour. I can't wait to show it to you. Here's a clip of us driving home right after we bought it.
Okay, y'all, we're driving home back to our town, our house, our apartment, and you won't believe what we did. We bought a house today, or we put in an offer and it was accepted.
Well, we don't know yet.
Well,
she verbally accepted it. So she has till 10 o'clock in the morning to sign it. But you're going to die. My channel is going to be so fun when I start working on it and everything. And it's just, what do you think, Scott? Can you believe we did that?
I knew we were going to do it when you left yesterday.
We've looked around so much. We've tossed everything around, and this house pretty much had everything close to the beach. I can't wait to show you. You're gonna die. You're just gonna die. That's all I gotta say. Yeah, I know. I look terrible in that clip. There's so many cute details in this house. It's got so much character. When you walk in it, you get that feeling of like a 40s or a 50s kind of a beach house feel. It's got lots of beadboard. It's got Bermuda shutters on it, you know, storm shutters. And there is a body of water across the street from us. And between the two houses across the street, we can see water. I'm just going to tell you right now that my videos are going to be sporadic for the rest of the summer, probably. We already have 5 sets of company lined up. Between the end of May and the end of July, we have 5 sets of company coming, probably more. So I'm going to be super busy. So honestly, y'all, if you want to see the transformation of the house and how we decorate and how we're doing this, and we're going to be living in 2 places, more to this story. We're still going to be living here, but we're going to spend a lot of time down there, obviously. We're not renting it out or anything like that. It's going to be like our vacation home, and then it will be our retirement home. I would click, obviously, I hope you're subscribed, but I would click the notification bell, which I know everybody is sick of people saying that. But when a YouTuber doesn't upload regularly, a lot of times they won't notify you if they've uploaded again. Now, I still plan on uploading once a week, but I'm just saying it's going to be crazy with the move and all the company and everything going on and all the furniture we have to buy and just, ugh, it's crazy. So, yeah, that's it. So, you're all caught up with the Reynolds. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.